Just like the walls of Jericho, we about to break it down. I'm Run KJV, this is a little message, and this is Chris. Let's church hop. Daniel the lion's den. Pet the lions. Yeah, you're unfazed. Don't eat me. Now it's time for Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Yeah. You're not on fire. You're vibing. Yeah. Now it's time to march around the walls of Jericho. Keep on marching. Blow a trumpet. God's gonna do a miracle. Now it's time for Lot's wife. Stay very still. You're a pillar of salt. You're salt, Chris! Now let's feed the 5,000. Get the bread, pass the bread, get the bread, pass the bread. Oh, here's the fish, pass the fish. Here's the fish, pass the fish. Don't eat the bread. Now it's time for the Damascus Road. Block the light, block the light, block the light. It's very bright. For beginners, cower in fear. Block the light. Now it's time for the fishermen. Ooh, reel it in. For experts, you can try walking on water. Yeah, reel it in. Ooh, reel it in. Now it's time to dodge and flee temptation. Dodge temptation, flee temptation, dodge temptation, flee temptation, dodge temptation, flee temptation, dodge temptation, flee temptation, dodge temptation, flee temptation. Now it's time to overturn the money changers. Flip the tables. Yeah, this is the Lord's house. Yeah, a house of praise. Yeah. Now it's time for the whip and pray praise. Now watch me whip. Now watch me pray pray. Now watch me whip, whip. Now watch me pray pray. Now watch me whip. Now watch me pray pray. Now it's time to raid the enemy's camp. Run to the enemy's camp. Take back what he stole from you. Run to the enemy's camp. Take back what he stole from you. Run to the enemy's camp. Take back what he stole from you. Run to the enemy's camp. Now it's time to flex on Satan. Yeah. Take that, Satan. I got the strength of the Lord. For experts, push pillars. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. Yo, this has been Church Hop, and you've been awesome.
Welcome, citizen, to Pathway Online. I am so glad you're joining us today. Have you seen Chaos? I know she's around here somewhere. I must be careful because the crown of Imbara is nearby. Let's see where she might be.
Day by day, There it is, the crown of Umbara. For how long I have waited for this day. Do you guys know how long it took me to finally find this thing? So much work. Do you know how many nails I chipped? It was totally worth it though, because I deserve it, because I am so much more amazing than that stinking Captain Pow. Well, he thinks he's a superhero, but you should see his little power strike. So cute. Doesn't do anything to affect me, the wonderful, amazing Chaos. He's not that smart either. I mean, he let me break into this place and steal this crown. Like, what kind of superhero would do that? No, I'm much better than him, because I'm a super villain.
Wow, that Chaos is something else, isn't she? She really thinks that she's better than everyone else. She thinks she's pretty amazing, and she was not afraid to let us know. Have you ever been around somebody like that? You know, it kind of makes me think about what we're going to talk about today in Esther. So, quick recap. Remember, Esther is a Jewish girl living in the land of Persia, and she actually was chosen to be the queen for the king Xerxes. He chose her out of all these other young ladies that had come before him. Now, remember, Esther was raised by her cousin Mordecai. Last week I made a little mistake and I called Mordecai her uncle. I know that wasn't correct. That is her cousin, and he is the one who raised her. We're going to hear some important stuff about him in just a second. But today we're going to introduce a new character, and his name is Haman. What was that?
Citizens, the Jewish people still celebrate today the celebration of Purim. And in Purim, they retell the story of Esther. And every time Haman's name is said, all of the people boo. Can you imagine that? Every time. Why don't you join us today as we learn the story and you boo every time the name of Haman is said.
Haman was apparently a pretty big deal in the kingdom of Persia. He was pretty powerful. In fact, the king Xerxes, he had just made him the official over all the other officials, making him the most powerful official in the kingdom. All the officials of the king would bow down to show respect to him whenever he would pass by, because the king had ordered it that way. But there was one guy who wouldn't do it. Can you guess who? That was Mordecai. Mordecai refused to bow down to Haman or show him the respect that he said he deserved. Well, this made Haman furious. Like, he was so furious, so angry, the Bible says it wasn't enough for him to lay his hands on Mordecai. He was determined to take care of all of the people of Mordecai's nationality. So he had learned that Mordecai was a Jew. So he was looking for a way to destroy all of the Jews in Persia. And so, lots were cast before Haman.
Citizen, you may be wondering what lots are. In ancient cultures, they were a type of dice. They could be anything that they would roll or throw to decide something, just like we might use dice today.
And a day was selected, about a year away from that time, that all the Jews would be destroyed. So Haman went before King Xerxes with his plan. And I want to read to you what he says to Xerxes. Haman said to the king, "There is a certain people dispersed among the peoples in all the provinces of your kingdom who keep themselves separate. Their customs are different from those of all the other people. They do not obey the king's laws. It is not in the king's best interest to tolerate them. If it pleases the king, let a decree be issued to destroy them. I will give 10,000 talents of silver to the king's administrators for the royal treasury." Wow. You know, you would like to think that when King Xerxes heard about a plan to destroy an entire group of people, that he would have said no. But instead, he looked at Haman a trusted advisor, right, for him, that he had made such a powerful official in the kingdom, and he gave him his signet ring, and he said, do what you want. Now, when a king signed something with his ring, like, it meant like it came straight from the king, and it couldn't be changed. So a decree was sent out exactly as Haman had dictated it. It was sent out to all the provinces in the land and all the languages of all the people in the land so that everyone would know what they were supposed to do. The order said there was a set day that all of the Jews would be killed. Not just a few, all, young, old, women, children. And the person who killed them could then take all of their property and keep it for themselves. Well, Haman thought it was a pretty good plan. I don't know what Xerxes thought about it, but he gave his ring his approval, and they sat down. Life was good for them, but the Bible tells us that all of Susa fell into confusion. What in the world is going to happen now?
Finally, somebody found me a mirror so I can admire my beauty.
Chaos! I found you at last!
Oh, great, this guy.
What have you? You've stolen the crown of Umbara!
I have! Aren't you proud of me?
No, I'm not proud of you. I'm going to capture you and take you in.
No, you are not.
And why is that?
Because I'm so much more beautiful than you and I'm smarter than you. I mean, it took you days to find me here with this crown.
Well, that is true. Is that the only reason?
Well, there are probably a few more I can think of, but not at the moment.
So you're smarter than me?
Uh-huh, sure am.
More beautiful than me?
Absolutely.
Can you beat that?
Not at the moment. I don't want to strain that.
But you're smarter than me.
Yes, I am.
Well, Chaos?
Mm-hmm.
Look out, there's a bird!
Wait, where?
I've got you now! I have captured you at last, and now the power strike! Once again, good saves the day.
Pride. You know, pride has many definitions, but when I talk about pride here, I'm talking about that thought that maybe I'm better than you are. In fact, I'm better than everybody. Kind of like chaos that we saw a little bit earlier. Arrogance is that feeling of being superior over someone else. Kind of makes me think about Haman that we just talked about. You know, pride and arrogance are pretty bad things, and they've taken down plenty of people. And you know, it's really easy to look at chaos and to look at Haman, and man, they were so prideful, they were so arrogant, they were so wrong. But you know, I think sometimes all of us can be a little guilty of falling to pride or arrogance. It could be that, you know, we think we're better than someone else because we're smarter than them, we are more good looking than they are, maybe we're faster or better at sports. Maybe it could be that you look at someone and you think you're better than them just by looking at where they're from, their nationality, like the Jews, from the color of their skin. There's so many reasons that people get prideful and think they're better than someone else. You know, as I read about Haman this week, it made me think, maybe I need to stop. Maybe I need to look at my own life. Is there any area in my life where I think that I might be better than others, that I deserve glory and honor and respect just because I walked into the room? Let's think about that. Let's think hard. So what I want you to do is I want you to hit the pause button, and I want you to stop and discuss with your family maybe some areas in your life that you might be prideful. like I said, it's pretty easy for all of us to struggle with some pride or arrogance in our lives. So if you discovered that you have something like that going on in your life, what can you do about it? I want to read to you a verse from Philippians chapter 2. It says, "Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, but rather in humility value others above yourself, not looking to your own interest, but each of you to the interest of others." So what do you do if you're struggling with pride? You know, I know for me, this is a verse that I pray in my life. Unfortunately, I can be pretty prideful at times. So I begin to pray this verse and pray and ask that God will help me to see others the way He does. That will help me to recognize that I need to look at other people as more important than my own thoughts and desires and wants. And you can pray this too. Pray that God will help you to look at others as better than yourself, that you won't think more highly of yourself than you should. And you know what? God loves to help us with those kinds of things. We are never alone. You know, when I look at chaos or I hear about Haman, I have to admit, I don't want to be like them. So I've got to make sure that I'm seeking God and asking for His help to give me a humble heart and to keep my eyes on Him so that I can love others the way that He wants me to love them.
Wow, some adventure, huh? Catching chaos was great. And we're able to return the crown of Umbara back to its rightful owner. Wait a second. Hold on, citizens. Yes? Oh no! Chaos has escaped. I guess the adventure continues. Captain Pow, away!